So no car, no phone, no job. I'm 22 years old, living at home. And again, I have this illusion that I was going to go and be successful because I have this degree. I think I was put on the planet to be a bridge between people. I think I'm someone that's just naturally have an affinity for people. I like people. If you want to help people, you got to go help people if you want to be the guy that helps people.
Welcome back to Backgrounds and Break-Ins with Jarvis Ross. I'm here with my guest today, Cameron Barnhill. How are you doing?
Doing well. How you doing?
Really good. All right, let's get right into it today. I want to discuss 4 different things today.
Yeah.
Some of your background and your history, your growth as like a young adult, your college, academics and post-career, and where you are now.
Sure. Great questions. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So grew up Noonan, Georgia. It's southwest, 30 minutes southwest of Hartsville, Jackson.
Yeah.
Both my parents, neither went to college. They met at FAA, which is the Federal Aviation Administration. So dad does real estate and contracting officer work. So he has like different contracts he'll do for the federal government with land and stuff. And then my mom, she worked in procurement. She's on disability retirement now. So growing up, I always wanted to do what they did. So I wanted to do something with airplanes, thought about being a pilot, thought about doing air traffic control work. And at the time, it wasn't super competitive growing up. You didn't really need a degree. It's pretty easy to get into it. They make pretty good money. It's good work. It's a good occupation to have. And over time, I realized I'm gonna need a college degree to really even get my foot in the door. So I've always liked learning, but I've never really loved the formal K through 12 setup or some of the classes that you learn that you take and have to learn different subject matter that you don't find interesting. So went to college, went over to Kennesaw State University. Hootie hoo, man. So I went there and started there. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. Quite honestly, I started out and thought that I would go into a few different avenues, thought about being a teacher, thought about doing different things, but really it was just to get a piece of paper so I could go pursue this air traffic control dream. About halfway through me being at Kennesaw, I knew I needed to get serious about finding a degree. Reached out to a friend's father and talked with him. He had some experience being a pilot. And he said, if you want to be an air traffic controller, you need to go to the Navy. My mom's not with that. She was like, my son's not going to the military. So I said, well, I guess I need to figure out something else. So continued with school, landed on business. I decided that getting a business administration degree is quite literally the most broad degree you can possibly find. So even when that collegiate clock ended, I would have something that I could use and take me into any field that I wanted. So about senior year at Kennesaw State, I was working 2 jobs, taking 6 classes. So I was a cashier at Target on Barrett Parkway.
Oh gosh.
Very busy
in
there. So you see people that you go to class with all the time, you're always chopping it up with them. And then I was a Amazon Prime student campus ambassador for the school. So you may have seen me around campus tabling. So basically Amazon would send in some products and I would go around campus and hand out free stuff to the students and explain through this program, through this initiative, here's ways to save money as a student. So did that, and I probably interacted with about 1,400 people every few months. So I really got used to getting out of my shell, talking with people, and not really about myself, but just about offerings of a company. So you really got to, it's my first time really doing that. So that was what I was doing, and I was really busy. So one day after both of those jobs, all my classes, walked into Target. And I was in the shift for about a couple hours, and I'm dog tired. I've got bags under my eyes.
You know that is.
Yeah. And some guy comes in, sharply dressed. His name's Jamal Lewis. And shout out Jamal. He was wearing a suit, and he comes in and gives me a very, very untimely, undeserved compliment. He said that I had a lot of energy. And I started laughing and started, a gut-wrenching laugh. Thought it was hilarious. I was like, I don't have any energy right now. That's hilarious. And he's like, you're pretty funny. Are you in school? I was like, I actually am. I'm a senior over at Kennesaw. He's like, oh, that's where I went to school. Look, I got to go. Here's my card. And I said, okay, I'm never going to use this, but whatever. Have a good day. I didn't say that to him, but I just had his card. Didn't think anything of it. Put it in my pocket. Flash forward to the end of school around May 2020. May 2020, and COVID happened.
Prime
pandemic. So they ended school a little early. Didn't get to walk for graduation, and I was, relegated back to my parents' home in Noonan. And I was told, similar to you, that we discussed before we got started, you go to school, you get a degree, and you'll have a job. You're making some pretty serious money, and your life kind of gets started. Not really my journey. So moved back home, and wanted to figure out how to make my mark on the world, figure out what I wanted to do. Remember, I still didn't even have any idea what I wanted to do. I was getting this degree for this air traffic control job. So went on LinkedIn, applied to every single job that I could find that sounded remotely interesting. And I didn't care if I was moving across the country. I didn't care if I was staying in the metro. I just wanted to find something. So interestingly enough, I found this job called entry-level data analyst at Leidos. Leidos makes a lot of complex technologies. If you go to the airport, you mentioned you like to travel before we got started. Whenever you get scanned at the airport, it's that machine. They make those machines as well. So I was going to move to Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, move in with my best friend's family in their basement, and save up money to get an apartment and just work there. They accepted me, and they sent the job offer.
Wow.
A week later, they rescinded the job offer. They rescinded the job offer because everything with the economy was so rough, so they couldn't bring me on anymore. So lost that opportunity. Started working at Target again seasonally, and did that for a little while. Told them when I got started, I said, hey, look, I got this piece of paper from Kennesaw. I won't be here very, very long. So after seasonal's over, if you can't keep me, keep someone else. I want to make sure that you keep the right people so there's no turnover. Try to do right by them. Well, sure enough, try to be. So fall comes around, Christmas comes around, that they don't really need seasonal anymore. They let me go, which I didn't have a job yet. So I was like, I'll figure out something. Coming home from work, literally that same day after I found out I wasn't going to come back the next week, somebody rear ends me. So they totaled my car, and I get a rental car. I got my first rental car ever that my parents had helped me with because I wasn't 25 yet. And I'm driving the rental car around for about a week. I go to the gym, and I drop a weight on my phone. My brand new iPhone.
What?
Never had an iPhone before. So no car, no phone, no job. I'm 22 years old, living at home. And again, I have this illusion that I was going to go and be successful because I have this degree.
Yeah. How are you feeling emotionally right
I was
now?
a wreck.
Yeah.
I was a wreck. I'm just like anybody who's had a really bad day, but that bad day never ended.
Yeah.
And, I'm in my parents' house, and I just remember feeling very empty, feeling defeated, feeling lied to, and why me, the why me feeling. And I'm sure that's how a lot of people that are going to see this already feel. And it's a really tough feeling to shake, and especially when you don't know what you want to do and you can't really figure out what to do with your life and how to get out of that. So one day, came home from working at Yamaha. They have 3 plants worldwide. And I was a parts assembler, so I was like putting parts together to build these vehicles for them. And I'll get into that some other time, but basically it just wasn't for me. I didn't really enjoy the work, and I came home one day really frustrated, and got these jeans, slammed them on the ground in my room, and just frustration because I was so upset with my circumstances. And the business card that I mentioned earlier in the story slides out of the pants.
No way.
Come to God moment. God save me, man. So the card slides out into the pants, slides under the dresser. I bend down, I kneel down, pick it up, and call the number. It's Jamal. It's Jamal's card. Call Jamal. He answers on the second ring, and he's like, I said, hey, you probably don't remember me. I'm Cameron. I used to work at Target. You met me over a year ago. He's like, oh, I remember you. Yeah, I said you had good energy. You were at Kennesaw, and I was like, that's me. Hey, nice. Thanks for remembering me. Exactly. So it was really nice of him to remember me. Got on the phone, explained the situation, and he said, well, man, I'm really sorry about your situation. I want to help you find something. Send me your resume. We'll go over it, and then we'll set up some time to talk again next week. We met again over the phone next week, following week, and he asked me if I knew what economic development was. And I told him, not a clue, but I'd love to hear about it. And within a year, I'm working in his old job, in his old office at the Henry County Development Authority as the project manager of business development, so in McDonough. So in that role, that was my first interaction to the realm of economic development, which is helping a local community prosper and grow.
Okay.
So my job was to bring companies, foreign and domestic, to McDonough, to Henry County, right? So what that looks like is understanding the county's marketable assets, interacting with legislators, interacting with companies, CEOs, and really selling them on the community. So that's how I first got started. I worked there for about 8 months. Then I went to the Georgia Department of Economic Development. So instead of selling that one county, I sold all 159 counties to different companies around the world. You meet a lot of people. You meet a lot of really great friends, a lot of connections, a lot of contacts, and you learn a lot really quickly.
I see.
I had the ability to travel a little bit and go to some conferences and network, and really helped me develop professionally really quickly. And you get a lot of nice opportunities. And after that role, after landing some companies and bringing them to Georgia, I started at Jackson EMC, which is where I work now. So it's a power company in Northeast Georgia, over 277,000 meters. We supply power to all these people in Northeast Georgia, and our greatest competitor is Georgia Power. So we're one of 41 EMCs in the state of Georgia, and we're the largest EMC in the state, third largest nationwide.
That's ginormous.
So my role there, I work out of Lawrenceville, and it's my job to support all the large and small commercial in the county, but I actually have 30 companies that I'm the primary point of contact for. So they can call me morning, day, or night, and it's my job to support them. And basically, I eliminate that 1-800 number. They can call me about anything under the sun, and I support them however I can. Outside of that, I do legislative affairs. So I don't, I am at the Capitol. I have a few legislators that can call on me and ask me questions about legislation. So basically, I try to make sure that our power bills don't go up. Right.
Oh, that's good.
That's really it's really tough work. Yeah. So
for your work.
Yeah, of course. So Jackson MC is a not-for-profit cooperative. So when you're not for profit, it's not to be confused with a nonprofit. We want to be at $0 at the end of the year. So we're actually owned by our members. So it's never in my company's best interest to ever have power bills, have our rates any higher than they need to be. Right. So we actually return all the margins above the cost of doing business back to our members.
Oh, wow.
So everybody that's a Jackson Emerson member gets a credit back to them on their bill, or they get something in the mail, and usually the more power you consume, the more money you get back from us. So again, if we ever had the rates go up, it would just be more money we're giving back. So we give money back through our foundation and all these things. And then lastly, in my role, I sell power. So it's my job to get companies to choose us whenever they have a choice. In the state of Georgia, you get a one-time choice to your power provider. So in 1973, the Georgia Territorial Act was passed, and basically it segmented the entire state, separated it from Georgia Power. EMCs were one of those EMCs, and then ECGs, which is Electric Cities of Georgia. And essentially that gives people in Georgia a one-time choice for their power provider. So do you have an apartment or a home you live in?
Yes.
Okay, so when you moved in, did they ask you who you wanted for your power provider?
Yes.
They asked you who you wanted.
Oh, I have Georgia Power.
Yeah, so they didn't ask you, they told you, right?
I was kind of,
You didn't get a choice, and that's only because your house doesn't consume enough power. So you would have to consume over 900 kW, 900 kilowatts for a choice.
Wow.
So that's why no one in the state of Georgia gets a choice. This is unlike other states. So the only organizations or people that have a choice are people that consume that much power. So it's about the size of a grocery store or greater. So I represent 30 companies like that had a choice, that chose us, and it's my job that if they expand, to continue choosing us and really just to continue supporting them.
How would you break that down to somebody to prefer yours over Georgia Power or something else's?
So it wouldn't be, so you mean on a residential sense?
Yeah.
So there would never be a situation where they would get a chance to choose. It's really just, there's all these maps that exist, and basically on a map, if you move into a house or apartment, or you own a business, and within that region you don't consume enough power, that is your power provider.
That's it. Yeah.
It's no different than like a water utility. Like your water bill comes. They never ask who the water company is. You just get water. You go turn the sink on. Same thing.
That's my dad. My dad works. He's retired now. 28 years as water resource. So he'd like to hear that. Cool. So do you think your other roles, like your Amazon job and maybe like some of your Target expert experience, aided you in your ability to network with others, you think?
Great question. I think that everybody is I think in psychology, there's the age-old argument of nature versus nurture. I think some of us are created by God, or just by just by how we're made up in our chemical makeup. Some of us have a higher propensity to interact with others in a better way. Some of us are more analytical. Yep. I think I was put on the planet to be a bridge between people. I think I'm someone that's just naturally have an affinity for people. I like people. I like to interact with them. I like to help them. So all my life, I've never really had trouble meeting people. I've never met a stranger.
Yeah.
So
you seem likable.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
That's a good feature to have.
Yeah, you too. You too.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I definitely do think those roles aided in that. I think that'd be the nurture environment. So I mean, I definitely think they helped, but those are also jobs that I sought after. I'm a big proponent on any job interview you sit and you're interviewing that company. So I wouldn't have wanted to work there if I didn't think that's something that I would enjoy or that I would excel at. Right. So
I think I like you. I'm also faith-based. So you could have like sowed a seed for later, and that card just so happened to fall in your pocket, but really it was like a sign of God.
Oh,
so
yeah.
This is your next path. Like, go down this road. And for you to call him, and he remembers your name and your face and what you're going through. So your job now, how much do you love your day-to-day, or like, what are some things you wish you could change or be better at?
Okay, yeah, great question. So, love my job. My favorite thing about my job is that I get to interact with so many different people.
Yeah.
I have to have relationships with all different types of stakeholders for various projects. So, I've got friends that in my economic development space, where I used to work at Henry County or at the Georgia Department of Economic Development. So, I have people that I still get to see at conferences and network, but sometimes they bring projects to us and we have to support them and find ways to complex problems on how we want to be able to serve a member or to assist them, right? So that's something that we get to still do. So it's nice to see all my old friends. I think the best thing is feeling like I'm doing something impactful. Nobody thinks about this, but whenever there's a storm, let's say there's a snowstorm and you were 8 years old.
Okay.
What happens if there's a snowstorm, you're 8 years old, you go home and you go home from school, you look at the TV, what happens tomorrow?
Out of school.
Yep. As an adult, that means I'm working. So I actually slept in my office in January during those winter storms.
Yeah.
I sit in my office if there's a really, really, really bad thunderstorm or windstorm or whatever, and then knocks a bunch of trees down, knocks over the power lines. I'm not a lineman. I'm not climbing up on lines and fixing things, but I'm supporting those people. So my job kind of switches in storm response. I actually turn into someone that brings them snacks, brings them drinks, brings them food. I'll drive out into the field and deliver the food to them, because unfortunately sometimes people will see a lineman eating and he's been working a 16-hour shift, right? Or he's been working for 2 days straight or whatever it is. And someone could take a picture of them, put it out there online, and it could look like they're not actually trying to help. When in reality, this is the first time they've had any sustenance the whole time. So it alleviates that whenever we take it out there, we just bring it straight to them. They can eat for a little while and get back to work, because people still need their power back on.
Yeah.
Power is important. We know that. So,
social media can really bend and warp how people perceive things.
Absolutely.
Like, I see people, and it gets, the weather here is crazy, as you know, with your job. Like, people could be working 20 degrees or 110 degrees, and it can be within a week's span. So it's really nice that you will go out there and assist them with things like that. I think that's phenomenal.
It's cool. I enjoy it. And one of your last questions I think you asked was, what's something that I would change, or what's something that's challenging or something. So
be better at.
I am great with time management, but I've been challenged recently. So I went back to school over at University of Georgia right now. I travel to Buckhead from Buford every Monday and Wednesday night. So I have class at 6. I get done at 9 and I get back around 10:30. So trying to stay active, trying to have a social life, trying to see your friends and your family, and trying to give your job your all. And I serve on a Gwinnett Young Professionals board, so I host events and plan events with fellow young professionals and try to connect people. And all of that can become a lot all at one time, because you don't want to spread yourself too thin, but you also want to make sure that you're excelling. Yeah. So
how do you juggle all these things to give your proper amount of effort towards all these different avenues, or do you take away from certain different avenues to give more towards something else?
I honestly just take everything one day at a time, one task at a time, and I pray every day. Honestly, so sometimes if I'm going through the day and I'm having a bad day, I'm like, why is today going so weird? I remember I didn't even talk to God yet, or I haven't stopped and been, thanked him for some things, or, I haven't paused and taken a breath and really, figured out what's the best way to handle this situation. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed by what's going on. It's really as simple as that. It sounds simple, but some days are different than others.
It's really hard. Like, I was getting into my faith more so recently, past few years, and it's hard to let go and give it all up to God.
Sure.
For me, especially, just like, because you want to be able to have hands on and control everything and get it done, but it is better when you give things up. And looking back, like, seeing that everything you always are mad about, you always come out on top of, for me personally, feels really good. What's some advice you'd give somebody who's maybe a little bit shy, or maybe doesn't know how to really get out there and network with other business-minded folk?
Great question. I think the most important thing about that, I consider myself an ambivert. So I think most extroverted people energize or are reinvigorated by being around other people. So they seek out social interaction, they seek out networking opportunities, whereas introverts, that scares them. They go back into their shell and they want nothing more to curl up in a book and escape their reality sometimes, right? I'm somewhere in that middle ground. I recharge by doing what an introvert might do, but my job and a lot of my social interaction happens to be extroverted. I'm someone that if I see someone, if I feel compelled by God to speak up and say hello to someone, I say hello. If I see someone having a bad day, I'll naturally feel inclined to try to pick them up. That's just in me. So whereas an introvert may see those things, but they just might not feel compelled or comfortable to do so.
It's not my job to get into that business.
Right. And it really isn't mine either. It's just something I do. So as far as being uncomfortable in a networking setting, my best advice would be to really encourage someone that is more extroverted than you and ask them so nicely, really politely, hey friend, please come with me to this. I know that you know how to work a room. I could really use you to help me, meet some people. And then the next time you go to a similar event that same organization is putting on, odds are if that person helped you work the room at a couple different events, you're probably going to already know some people the next time you go. Then you use those people to help you meet some more people, and eventually you're going to know most of the people in one room. You go somewhere else, bring a couple people, and then before you know it, you have an entire network of people that you can rely on. And the scariest thing about networking, I think, to anybody is really walking up to someone or walking up to a circle and everyone's back's turned and you're afraid to engage them and you think that they just may not even open up and talk to you. It's networking. The reality is it's just like the middle school dance. Honestly, you walk in and someday we're going to have children and we're going to be chaperones. You walk in and you see all the girls on the left side, you see all the guys on the right side. Present day in a bar in one of those situations, it's a bunch of women by themselves and it's a bunch of men on their weather app. And they're scrolling up around. They're like, oh, it's going to be sunny next week. Absolutely it is. It's July. You're right, dude. It is
against the wall.
And everyone's trying to look busy, and some people, are maybe more egotistical and they think people should come up to them. Others are, quite the opposite, and they are just coming up to everybody because they want a job opportunity, right? So I think the best advice I would give, aside from just having a buddy to get you into it, once you're in those spaces, be honest, be genuine, be yourself, and when you make a genuine connection with someone and you're not talking with them to get something from them, they appreciate that. People forget that we're mammals, we're animals. We can sense when people are being disingenuous, and when we sense that, it makes us not want to be around those people and not help them and not give them opportunities.
Do you have any tips on how to be genuine at these type of networking events? Is it just be yourself, or is it the way you dress, or is it the confidence you bring? What are some advice you give to others? I think
you hit it on the nail. I think it's really be yourself. If you're someone that doesn't like to be super social, you can still walk up to someone, give them a compliment, say, hey, I really, really like that outfit. I really like that suit. Where'd you get that from? And then just let them talk. I've, probably dominated most of this conversation, but people love talking about themselves. So if you can get someone talking, then you can find things about what they might share so that you can resonate with you, and that you empathize with, and you have things in common. Once you find common ground, you can have a relationship with just about anybody.
That's really perfect. I know I've been to a few networking events myself, and the very first one I went to, I was so scared. And I don't get scared very easily, but I went alone. I came in just wanting to like build my network profile, or just build my network, expand my horizons or so.
Sure.
So, and everybody in there was much older than I was, so I felt a little uncomfortable or a little bit out of place. And because I felt like, who's going to want to work with a little black kid here? And it's all much like older white professionals, or even like, not just white, but Asian, or, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I did feel a little out of place. I'm much more comfortable with myself now too, which I think that helps a lot as well.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Knowing who you are, or knowing like what you're good at and what you're not good at could also be really key.
Definitely. And I think when you get comfortable in your own skin, it certainly helps. And seek out organizations. I mentioned this earlier. I serve on the Gwinnett and Professionals Board. Mm-hmm. So we're an organization with the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce, and we actually plan events, morning mixers. We actually have an event coming up on October 16th. It's the 35 Under 35 Awards. Oh, wow. So we actually recognize 35 young professionals that live, work, and play in Gwinnett County. And they can submit their resumes, and they can submit some information, a little biography about themselves, answer some questions. And then we actually have a committee that votes on those people, and they can be put in that spotlight. But it's actually an event. So even if you're not one of the people that are being considered for the award, you can still come, show your appreciation for what we're doing, and for the actual winners. And then it's a great way to have fun, dance, meet people. There's drinks, there's food, so it's a great way. So I would say seek out organizations like that. I think just about every county in the metro has something like this. Yeah. And those are rooms where the people may not be as experienced as some of the other rooms that you might be intimidated to go into. They might be more around your age. And you mentioned when you were 22, you were a little intimidated. Yep. These people are on the same level of business stature as you at this point. So it's a great place to start.
Maybe entry level or mid level, or
post college.
Yeah, you're a business development manager. So can you take us through a day in the life of what you do, how early you have to get up, how much time you have to put aside to do your job, or things you might have to like let go of or give less to perform your duties?
Sure. I'm not married. I'm not dating anybody, and I don't have any kids. So for me, my day in the life is a little different. My counterparts are in a different age range than I am. Mm-hmm. So they might start their day getting their kids up, getting them to school, and then they get to the office. Our normal operating hours for our roles are about 8 to 5. Okay. But really, it's whatever the day calls for. So a given week, maybe one day out of the week, we have an event that we're hosting, and we got to make sure that we get all the attendees there, and that we show up, and we give a brief introduction for everyone, and we work the room and talk to everybody. Another day. Another part of the day, we might be responding to a situation where maybe a member wants to change out a transformer, or maybe they're going to be expanding and they have some questions. So maybe some meetings, or maybe we're sharpening our sales skills, and we're meeting to do that. So every day is different. I think that's probably my favorite part about what I do is I hate jobs that are very autonomous, redundant. It's like meticulous work where. I like being detail oriented, but I don't like doing the same details over and over again. Yes. So I mean, I could set a meeting today, Friday, and then for next Friday, and that meeting next Friday may not even happen anymore. But then something it might get replaced with something entirely different, and I like that. I like the variability of that.
Do you think that's a trait of you, or more so your age, of not having to you can stay on your toes and keep it fresh and keep it lively, or do you think it's more so you like having different challenges to accept?
I think that, again, is the whole nature versus nurture thing. I think that certain people have an affinity for certain types of work, and sometimes, unfortunately, people are more interested in things that they might not naturally excel at. I feel that God put me in the perfect place. I'm interested in it. I like it. I believe that I'm good at it. So I seek out jobs that are complex, that are different every day, and there's some variability to them. And I think if you like the nature of the work that you're doing, you can excel at it, and you will enjoy it.
Oh yeah. If you like something, despite how challenging it may be, the reward you'll get from it and the gratification you'll get from it is going to trump all of that. So, and you'll build the skills you'll need to excel at the job too.
Definitely.
So that's definitely key. So, so your operating hours are 8 to 5. Your work hours are 24/7.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't mention that part. So I mean, I could get a call at 3 a.m. tonight. Hey man, we're having some issues. Could you look into it? So I'll call our system control team, and they'll dispatch a crew out, and they'll assess the situation, and they'll let me know what's going on. Then I'll send a report to the member, and I'll mention, hey, here's exactly what happened in the area. Sometimes there might be a squirrel, something as small as a squirrel or a snake can get into a substation and mess with our infrastructure, or somebody could hit a pole and that pole hits a tree or something, and that tree falls on a line and it could cause an outage. Yeah. And that one line might be connected to hundreds and hundreds of members. Man. So it could put a lot of people without power. Now for us at our houses or our apartments, whatever, if we lose power, it turns off Love Island, which makes us upset. And then our microwaves, whenever we look at our microwaves, if forever, indefinitely until we go back and check it, it is not set at the right time, which is also pretty annoying. For some of these large, heavy manufacturing companies, large industrial companies, if they have even the slightest power disruption, it could really throw them off and they could lose a lot of money a lot of time. So we take all that very seriously. We have a great outage response time because of that. And we really pride ourselves in taking care of our members and responding to outages as quickly as possible.
You mentioned earlier your work-life balance recently you've been struggling with. So have you thought of ways to maybe like aid in that, or do you think right now is the grind time?
I think about it every day, but I also think it's the grind time.
Yeah.
One of my biggest self-criticisms, aside from just not being the most concise individual, I am someone who really works relentlessly, and I have trouble being present and stopping and smelling the roses. I hope I get better about that as I age, but honestly, I think I'm one of those people. When I have something in my crosshairs, I just pursue it endlessly until I reach it, and then once I reach it, I'm on to the next thing. And I think I just need to slow down and really appreciate being under 30.
Yeah.
And then I need to appreciate being in my 30s whenever I make it that far, if that's in God's plan, because it's rare that, we get to do the things we get to do, live in the country that we live in, and we should really be more appreciative of, all the good things that life has to offer.
What is some advice you'd give to like a younger you, or maybe some people kind of come up in the world and trying to get up in the workplace and get right to it like you are in grind time, as you say?
Yeah, I actually met with someone yesterday and we had dinner, and he asked me the same question. And I think this is different. This is a different answer for every single person that might be looking for the answer to the question. I think some good general advice is give yourself a break and to stay in your lane. I think so many of us get so focused on what everyone else is doing that we run into the grass is always green on the other side. Oh, look, they're the same age as me and they already have a house, or they already have this going for them. They're making this salary, and we forget about all these short milestones that we've already completed on our own journey. Everybody knows this is an age-old quote, comparison is the thief of joy. Yeah. And I think as a young generation, still trying to figure out how we want the world to remember us once they move on to the next one, and they say, this is how we can generalize them, and this is how Gen Zers are. I think that the best thing you can do is really to focus on yourself, be introspective. We talked about this before we even got started, but understand what you like, understand what you don't like. I volunteered at an elementary school about 2 months ago. I was talking to some fifth graders. I completely forgot how short people are in fifth grade. It's crazy. 10-year-olds are coming. Yeah, 10-year-olds are very short, but
it's coming.
They were hilarious. They had a lot of energy, but I went there and asked them some questions, and I told them to raise their hand, and I said, what do you guys want to be when you grow up? And all of them raised their hands and said different things. And this little girl was really, really stuck on being a lawyer. And I said, that's a really interesting career. Why do you want to do that? And she gave her reasons why. And I said, okay, well, class, everybody raise your hands. What do you guys like to do in your free time? Some kids said play soccer. Some said watch TikTok, dance, hang out with family, whatever. And I asked her what she liked to do, and she said she liked to draw and she liked to sleep. And I said, that's really, really cool. Those are cool hobbies. Question for you, you know, how many lawyers do you know that get to draw and get to sleep a lot?
I don't know.
And that's what I asked her. And she said, oh, I don't know. What's the answer? And I said, not many.
Yeah, at all.
I was like, you guys are all concerned with making a lot of money and having this big career and having this cool life. And you can definitely do that. And I'm here standing in front of you guys to show you guys that you guys can go out there and do whatever you want to do, but it's not really important what the title of your job is or what society thinks about you, or if you have a certain job versus another one. It's about, are you able to do what you like to do in your free time? If you don't have that free time and you're not able to actually use it the way that you want to use it, like I love nurses, I love teachers. They're the backs of our society, and they do a lot for us, but their hours are crazy. Teachers work very long hours. They have really just the summer off, but part of that summer is getting the students ready for back to school. And nurses and doctors, people in the medical fields, if their spouses, if they're not in the medical field, a lot of the time they're kissing them goodbye in the middle of the day.
Yeah,
you have to be okay with being on a different schedule than you might want to be. So that's what I would say. I would say really think about what you like to do in your free time, and that'll really help you narrow down what you want to do.
Do you think that could be coming from certain aspects of like the media we consume? I'm interested more in like doing something hands-on and not being like stuck somewhere. So do you think, like, I would say now there's more career fields and paths than ever before, as is like we didn't have streamers, like all these are like new career paths, and when we get older there'll be even tons more.
That is a great question. So a lot of these kids gave the answers you would expect them to give. They said, I want to be a professional athlete, I want to be a streamer, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a fireman. These are jobs that are tangible, and they see them day in and day out, and they seem cool, they seem fun, they seem exciting. But a lot of the better paying jobs that give you the work-life balance that you want and that you might be seeking, they are jobs that are so niche that you would never know about them. And unfortunately, some people aren't in a fortuitous position. They may not be at a private school. They may not be live in a nice neighborhood, right? So they may not have people that work in those fields. So all they really have is career day. All they have is some person coming in there and some loafers and a polo and saying, hey, kids, this is what I do. And if they don't hear about that, they don't see a person of color, if they don't see a woman in a job that a woman or a person of color might not traditionally be in, they won't even see that as a possibility for them.
As like a black woman, seeing somebody in the role that she hadn't thought of is really important. Like even with doctors, dentists, lawyers, all those things are really important to see somebody else already in the position. So you're like, oh, maybe I could do something. I could be interested in that.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty huge to me. So as you were talking, I started to think, when does Cameron know he's made it? Like for you, what's your definition of I've made it? I can now take a deep breath. I'm here now. I've done it.
Great question. I think when I've made it, that'll be heaven. But to really answer your question, it'll be when I can touch the lives of people the way I was touched by somebody just coming into the grocery store and noticing me, taking some time. I mean, he was married and had a baby on the way, and he was helping me with my resume. I'd like to do that for as many people as possible. I want to create as many career opportunities for people as possible, because I know what that feeling's like. And I hated that feeling, and I remember it. And I think anytime you go through an event in your life and it rubs you the wrong way, there's one of two things you can do. You can sulk, and you can say, well, why me, like I did, and you can just let it eat you alive, and then let it bleed into all your personal relationships and professional relationships. Or you can find a way out of it, and once you do get out of it, you can try to inspire other people. And that's what I'm trying to do. So I think I'll feel like I made it when I can turn around and I can say, look at all these people, look at all these great things they're doing, and I would be able to say, hey, I played a really small part in doing that.
It sounded like you felt a little like down on your luck, or like woe-ish me per se. And I've been there too. I would tell anybody, like, going through it is important too. Just because me and you both will not hold on to it as a crutch or like woo cry about it, but like I remember this. I remember how I felt. I'm not going back there. I'm moving forward. I'm moving past it. Mm-hmm. So going through it and come out on the other side is truly important to me too.
It is. It's almost like a rite of passage in a way. I mean, it's almost like any scar that you have on your body or anything that you have that you went through. You can't appreciate. People always ask, why does God put us through all these tough times? Why do bad things happen to good people? Sometimes we forget that that's subjective for us to think that way. Sometimes things just happen, and sometimes we forget the strength of prayer. If you pray for strength, God's just not going to give you strength. He's going to give you things that are going to make you strong. Yep. So if you want to get wisdom, you're going to be challenged intellectually, and you're going to have to go through some things to be wise. Yep. And so you can really extrapolate that and apply that to just about anything in your life that you've gone through, that anybody that's listening has gone through. And it makes sense. And honestly, had I not gone through what I went through, I don't know that I'd be as appreciative of what I have now. Honestly, I don't know that I would be able to go to sleep at night and be humble and be thankful and be grateful. I would honestly feel like I deserve it and that it's mine. And I think there's also a little bit of an imposter syndrome you run into when you start a new job and you're younger. And I think that's also a rite of passage as well, because you begin to really appreciate the fact that you're there and you can really soak it up.
You were placed in the rooms you're supposed to be in.
Right.
All right, so today we have a Cliff Bar, which is Cameron's snack of choice. So Cameron, tell me why the Cliff Bar got you to where you are today.
It's a great question. These are literally on every single bar, it says the word sustained energy. And I think back to that story, my origin story of how I got into what I do. For sure. I just got off my break, and I just had my 15-minute break. I just had a Cliff Bar.
Where are you in the story?
This is back when I was at Target. So the energy that I was, the supposed energy that I had, probably came from me getting a snack. And I actually don't eat these very often. I like them. They're not too bad for you. They're not too great for you. So everything's good in moderation. But it's just one of those things that I remember snacking on, and I think that I probably would have not been as well received as I was in that moment had I not had some type of nourishment.
Absolutely not.
Oh, it's the Cliff Bar.
Yeah. So shout out Cliff Bar.
Shout out Cliff Bar.
Get a sponsorship soon.
They should sponsor us.
That's really
sponsor the podcast.
Oh my God! All right, we gotta put the snacks down.
Is there anything I would change? I think that I would change how I treated myself, how I treated my family, and how I treated some of my friends. I was never particularly openly envious about anything with them, but I mean, you see your friends. I want to see all my friends win. I want to see all my boys win. Like, I want to see them get to their careers. But when you see people making way larger amounts of money than you are, and they're moving out of their parents' house, it is really tough. Oh yeah, it's really tough to see that. And then you come home and your parents are asking you, hey, so when are you gonna figure it out? And so I wasn't the best person at that time, and I read a book. I recommend this book to everybody. It's called The 4 Agreements. Okay. It's a self-help book, and I actually read it while I was on the treadmill at the gym. It's like all the thing I did when I was trying to find jobs, working out and trying to find ways to improve myself. Yeah. And it really helps you, the reader, center yourself, be introspective, and really understand your place in the world. So it's almost like one of those things where you forget that the world doesn't revolve around you. Yeah. And everybody knows that on a fundamental basis, but it's nice to have a reminder, a 200-page reminder. Yeah. How many words, how many pages are, but it was very, very fundamental in me getting out of that rut. Yeah. And not soon after I finished the book was when I found that business card. And and who knows, maybe I wasn't in the right headspace. I wouldn't have been in the right headspace had I not gone through that and read the book and then talked to Jamal and sprung my career. So.
Did the book level you down or bring you back down to earth, or did it give you more perspective on how things really go around
here? I remember I had a really bad car accident in high school, and broke my wrist, and it was the first time. Like I probably should have died, but shout out Honda because they have really safe cars. But Honest,
a cord or what?
Under cord.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Under
very
cord.
safe car.
I was making a left turn and I was hit. I was going maybe 3 miles an hour as I was turning, and the person hit me in a Ford Expedition. Oh, they were driving probably 50, 60 miles an hour. Yeah, and they hit me head on.
That's terrible.
Everything else was fine. The only reason I even had a broken wrist was because I drive kind of like that. And,
me too.
And the airbag, inflated and it broke my wrist.
But otherwise unscathed.
Otherwise unscathed.
Wow.
And when I got surgery and I had the scar and everything from the surgery, a lot of my scars, when it healed, you can see hearts. That's kind of how the scar formed. Mm-hmm. Several hearts. It's kind of weird how it was stitched up. But that moment was the first moment in my life up until that point where I had felt like, okay, I just got in a car accident. All these cars are still driving.
Oh yeah.
Nobody stopped and said, "Hey, are you okay?" Mm-hmm. It was, "Hey, we all need to get home. We need to get home to our families." So it was nice to have a reminder in that book of, it's okay that my situation I'm not in the most advantageous position right now, and that's okay. And it's okay that other people are seemingly in better situations because that's just how things work.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And the only person that's going to really get you out of it is you. You kind of have to create your own path and believe in yourself.
Do you think it eventually levels, or do you think the people that work harder are put in these positions, or how do you think that balances out?
I think people that never realize the dreams that they set out for themselves, one of two things happened. One, they're lazy.
No, I agree.
And they're like,
this is good.
I believe. I'm glad you like the bars.
Shout out Cliff Bar.
Yeah, shout out Cliff Bar. They're good, man.
What?
And they have other flavors too. You got that's not even one of the best ones.
This is just basic.
It's not even one of the best flavors.
What's the best one?
Either chocolate chip or the double chocolate brownie. Elite. Or there's white macadamia nut. I can talk about those all day.
I saw that. Oh.
Yeah, those are delicious. But yeah, there's the people that run into these issues where they just never get out of this rut of not finding employment. The lazy piece is they're always saying, well, all these people, all my friends, all my family that are quote unquote successful, whatever they believe is successful, they use the L word. I'm not talking about love. I'm talking about lucky. They say, you're lucky. That's the only reason you even did anything. That's the only reason you accomplished X, Y, Z. I believe that luck is when opportunity is when preparation meets opportunity.
Well, baby.
Yeah, luck is.
I agree.
Yeah, so if that's true, then all these people did what they needed to do: personal development, professional development, making a LinkedIn, networking, putting themselves out there, whatever they needed to do to be recruitable. And then whenever they were in a position to be recruitable, they were recruited.
Yep.
Period. Or I said there's two things. There's either someone that's really lazy and they think everyone's just lucky, or it's the people that unfortunately are stuck on a dream that they were never built, made, created to do. So people that are stuck on being a professional baseball player and they're 29 and they've never played in college.
That door's locked.
Locked.
They keep knocking
and
on it.
There's always other ways to, you don't have to even work in sports to feel like a baseball player. Some people believe that being a baseball player is what they always wanted to do, when in reality they may have just wanted to be the guy or the girl. Like they just wanted to be somebody, a person of interest. They wanted to be someone that is in the limelight. Seen. Yep. There's all kinds of jobs out there that put you in that frame of mind, and that's just sports. There's all kinds of things that kids want to grow up doing, and then they feel like that job escapes them, that they can never be happy.
Yep.
And that's what they run into, and then they keep spinning and spinning and spinning, and unfortunately they don't make any progress.
I think a lot of jobs I'm a 90s baby, I guess you are too. Like a lot of the jobs and careers people were seeking from our age group was from television. At least for me, I know in DVD and television, most things you saw were like, that looks cool, especially for athletes. You're like, oh, these look like superstars. Like, I used to watch wrestling heavy.
Yeah, WWE.
Oh my god, heavy. I see it now and then. Yeah, I see Roman Reigns. John Cena. I grew up with that. Yeah, kind of bad, but if you seen like Dwayne Johnson, so he was a big wrestler, like whatever champion. But he went to movie acting, which is kind of like when you think about a seamless transition from like an athletic sport to a, I don't know, entertainer, but like he already played the part of showman.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of eased him into that transition. So I think that could be something for him. Like, maybe that wrestling wasn't for me, but maybe becoming like the world's biggest actor was in the plans.
Well, you left out one critical piece of his journey. He played football for that.
At the U.
At the U.
I remember
Miami. Miami, baby.
At the U.
He played at the U.
Yep.
And him, I think Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, a lot of these like legendary WWE superstars, whether they go into acting afterward, they were pursuing football.
Yep.
Their sights were on the NFL, and they didn't cut it. But instead of saying, well, I'm going to keep trying to do football, they decided to do something different, and they went on to have even more illustrious,
much bigger names,
and much more profitable, lucrative careers.
Their name value is probably 100 times bigger than what it would have been as a defensive end. Like, how many defensive ends can we name? Well, I can probably name a lot, but like, they're not really like. If a defensive end walked in the supermarket, I would say that's a big guy.
Sure.
If Brock Lesnar walked down the street, I would say Brock Lesnar. Like, so they got into a position to where like they became much bigger names.
They became bigger than their occupation.
Yes.
And I think that is what you asked. Why? When I think I would made it, when I think I would have made it in my career, I think when I become bigger than my career, when someone doesn't say, "Oh, Cameron, the guy that works at this company or the guy that serves on this board," it's, "Oh, that's Cameron," and instead of saying said organization that I'm in allegiance to or whatever, it's he helped me do this.
Yeah, it's Cameron from blank becomes Cameron. That's the guy that aided me in whatever.
Exactly. So whatever mark you want to leave in the world, and if it for means of our conversation, we're talking entertainment. Oh, that's Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He's done all these movies. He's so entertaining. If you want to be so entertaining, then you got to go do some entertaining stuff.
Absolutely.
So if you want to help people, you got to go help people. If you want to be the guy that helps people,
don't get scared to go tackle it.
Yeah.
Even if it's not ideally what you have in mind, you'll get there through steps.
Yeah, and generally it's going to be uncomfortable no matter what you're trying to do, especially if it's something that is life-changing and is going to be something worthwhile. So you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Like that. Thank you so much for joining the podcast today. Do you have any closing remarks or anything you want to tell anybody? You want to link somebody, tell them to come up somewhere? I know you have that event in October.
Yeah, got the event in October, 35 under 35 awards, October 16th. Be there, be square.
Oh, be square.
And if there's something you want to do, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself, and don't be afraid to ask for help. And do what you can now to prepare yourself for when that opportunity comes.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so